Division I basketball team. It's just, it's the same thing. I mean,
What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Sorry, my mic is acting funny. Alright, sorry about that. But we're back with another Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast Rivalry Week show. This week we talking about Georgia State. So, hey, go Panthers. And I brought two experts on with me to talk about GSU. So, Southern not state or state not Southern? Which one y'all think it is?
Definitely state not Southern, without a doubt.
Never Southern. We're not the directional school. Sorry, pal.
Yeah, we don't burn books at Georgia State.
That's true.
Okay. All right. Thank y'all for joining us. Well, if y'all new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this content out with other college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section as always. Come holla at your hometown sports podcast. I got one person from Georgia Sports Hospitality Media. Julian, how you doing, man? Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, my name's Julian. You can find me on YouTube. My name is Cynical Peach. Talk about everything Georgia sports, especially Georgia State. You can find me on my Twitter account, Julian Harden 3, and on Georgia Sports Media Hospitality. We talk about all Georgia sports, and great to be here.
All right, and then we got Mr. Ben Moore back. He was on a couple of times last season for Rivalry Week. Expert writer. Tell them who you are, where they can find you at.
Yeah, man. Come at me on social media. It's just been more 24/7. Glad to be with you again, my man. Definitely enjoyed it last time. Glad to be back and talking football, man, in this wild and crazy year.
Yes, appreciate y'all coming on. Hey, if y'all not following us on social media, follow us on Twitter at FILA_SP. Also find us you can find us on Facebook, FILA Sports Podcast. And also if you just want to check the audio out, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Anchor, all that good stuff. So hey. Also we also have a Patreon. The link should be in the description. If not, I'll make sure it's in the description as well. So just donate what you can. So let's get into the news of college sports around the state. Let's start talking about some UGA football. They don't play this week, so y'all gotta wait one more week to see the Bulldogs. So DeJuan Mathis is expected to be named Georgia starter quarterback. UGA revealed the new uniforms today. It includes a throwback to the 1980 national title team. They are expected to wear on season opener. So I know a lot of people are excited about that. They also teased a black top with gray pants. The highlight is a new collar with spikes designed around the neck like a dog collar. What's y'all thoughts on that?
I actually love the throwback. I'm not so much a big fan of the dog collar ones. I prefer the dog stickers, dog bone stickers in the back of their helmets. But overall, it's a good redesign. It's a lot better than the one they had in 2011 when they played Boise State and had those god awful uniforms, I think, made by Nike. So it's a step up, but I'm not really a fan of the dog color on the actual colors of the team. Overall, I give it like a 7 out of 10. Solid work.
All right. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, man. You're seeing it more and more. And part of it, I mean, Nike's certainly trying to push product and can do that. Have a loyal, humongous fan base. Certainly the brand here in the state of Georgia. But yeah, their fans ate it up. They liked it a whole bunch, and you're seeing, I think, too, a rebranding of really almost all of the state's FBS programs by their respective groups. And but yeah, I know you did mention DeJuan Mathis. That's seemingly coming out of left field, but UGA has certainly had an interesting fall camp. At their quarterback position, but still going to be one of the best teams in the nation, and certainly one of the elite programs in the country too.
All right. Also, yeah, I agree. I like the uniforms. I agree with you, Julian, about the dog collar, around the neck. Sometimes you put new stuff out there, but sometimes you try to push the envelope, and sometimes you just burn it up. So in that case, hey, it's fine. So let's look at the scores of this past week. We know upset about Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech beat Florida State 16-13. Hey, the Yellow Jackets moved up to 11th in the ACC power rankings after beating them as well. Sales will look to carry the momentum as he was responsible for 341 total yards against the Noles. Tech is currently right now is a 7.5 underdog against USC. That game will come on this Saturday on ABC 3:30 and UCF. I'm sorry, and Georgia Southern. Oof, yeah, they almost got by Campbell.
Was really hoping for it.
Yeah, they almost got by Campbell on Saturday. They won by 1 point, 27-26. The biggest missing was the running back Wesley Kennedy. They missed him last week. He led the Eagles last year, 824 rushing yards, and he also had I think I want to say over 1,100 purpose yards. So they got to be healthy, man, when they play Florida Atlantic this week. And that game's coming on ESPN. It's coming ESPN. That game will be on ESPN. So I think it's been a while since they've been on the mothership of ESPN. So hopefully they don't wet the bed. Hopefully they can beat Florida Atlantic and come out there with a dub. Another thing, according to the report published by Chuck King of Follow This, states nearly a dozen of Florida Atlantic players have tested positive for COVID-19. Wow. Yeah. They don't even know. So they said Tuesday practice and also Thursday practice was canceled. Willie Taggart, yeah, I know y'all remember him. He used to be the Florida State head coach. He will wait for further testing for contact traces this week as they continue to figure out what's going on down there. So the game look like they will play the game this Saturday, but hey, if they don't, yeah, it's gonna be a kind of a big loss for Southern because you on ESPN, so
yeah. Keep in mind, Southern had 33 players out against Campbell as well, so it's not guaranteed that they'll even be at full strength either. So it's these. And not all of them were COVID related. I mean, some of them were rules violations. From what I understand, basically people not following the protocols that were set out by the football program. So you got that going on as well. So have not seen an update as of today. But you just don't know if the team can't travel. I mean, Friday's a travel day for Saturday games. So we'll see if the Owls make their way north.
Man, it's crazy. Like these people gotta understand. These are kids. All right. It's like you telling a lion not to eat you. Like they gonna want to have fun. They gonna want to go out. You telling them to just stay in one room, stay in one place. Like they gonna go places. So I just don't see it going well. I want to see college football, but it's gonna be consequences for a lot of teams because some of the players are gonna end up catching it. Hopefully, no one dies from it. But that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Everybody want college football back, but hey, these kids are paying a huge price, and this is why I've been advocating on the players to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia State made national news for one of our quarterbacks testing positive. I mean, recovering from COVID, and they thought he had a heart symptom. Yeah, so it's concerning.
Yep, sure is. Yeah, well. All right. We're here to talk about state, and we play Louisiana Lafayette this Saturday, and that game is going to be on ESPN2. That game is at noon, I believe. Yep. All right. So, my main thing about University of Louisiana Lafayette, I'm shocked to see them in the top 25. I know they beat Iowa State last week. Some people say that's a huge upset, but I don't see it as a bigger upset how State beat Tennessee last year. So, what do you guys think about Lafayette ranking? I think that was ranked 21 in the nation right now.
believe they were 19 actually.
19?
Yeah.
It depends on what rankings you're looking at. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that first and foremost, it's a great win for the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt had a fantastic weekend. I mean, they just dominated the Big 12, and for a conference that's thought as like the worst of the FBS, it sends shockwaves because Georgia State, as we saw last year, they beat Tennessee, and now they set their game up by beating a ranked opponent. I mean, that's just better for the conference as a whole. It does show that it's not just App State in the conference, that it shows that you have talented players, you have talented coaches that aren't just for the Mountaineers or even for the Eagles. And I think this is a warning shot to all the other conferences. When you play the Sun Belt, well, besides Appalachian State, you're not in for an easy win. They can challenge you. And so this is why I'm glad that we're seeing a more gradual buildup of certain programs as they schedule in bigger opponents. Because, I mean, if you told me this 4 years ago that any other team besides App State would have upset a team in the Power Five, I would have laughed in your face because it's the Sun Belt. But now we're seeing the evolution of the Sun Belt teams being a force to reckon with, even for these Power Five opponents. Tennessee learned their lesson last year, and now it's Iowa State. And I think that is good to see for the conference. As for Georgia State, I think it's a great measuring stick, but it does make me miss the fact that we didn't have our first games because it would have been great to see Georgia State be in that kind of conversation, playing in the first weekend for the Sun Belt.
All right. Dan, your take?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge game, huge opportunity, certainly on ESPN2. Only the second time that Georgia State's been on ESPN, the mothership, or ESPN2. So, huge game. You also have the letdown factor. I mean, Louisiana, that was the first ever win over a top 25 opponent. They're coming in here a little banged up as well. Caught up with their beat writer, Tim Buckley, today. 9 Louisiana Raging Cajun players will not make the trip this weekend to Atlanta due to issues with COVID-19 and contact tracing and potential quarantine issues there as well. So don't know all those players at this point. Won't know them all probably, but I have been told there will be at least one starter and several players that are in the rotation there for the Raging Cajuns that won't make the trip. They did have an enormous win going and beating Iowa State. Don't want to also shortchange Arkansas State, who went there and knocked off Kansas State on the road. And then, of course, Coastal Carolina just simply embarrassing Kansas. So as Julian mentioned, I mean, it's a 3-0 weekend for the Sun Belt. But this league isn't, has been solid for several years as well. I mean, Troy went into LSU and beat them several years ago. You've had South Alabama go in and beat Missouri. Georgia State had their close call, loss up at a ranked Wisconsin program as well. So this league is continuing to gain traction, continuing to kind of emerge over, I think, their brethren and their peers in the Group of Five, like Conference USA and the MAC for sure. And trying to take that next step toward the American. That's, I think, the biggest goal is, they brand themselves as a Power 6 conference, and they want to hold that mantra. So there's opportunities this year, certainly from a Sun Belt to American this year as well. But, yeah, enormous game for the Panthers. They get it at home, and they have, a brand-new quarterback there that the Cajuns have no information on. So it should be fun to watch. I know I'll be in attendance. I believe Julian will be as well. So looking forward to Saturday.
All right. Now, do or die year for Sean Elliott as head coach. I know he had a couple of 7-5 seasons or whatever. What's y'all take? Do y'all think he can win more than 7 games per season? I know it's kind of hard playing in the Sun Belt. Then also you playing outside of your conference. You playing like teams in the SEC or the Big 12 or Big 10.
I don't think it's do or die. However, we had this issue a couple of seasons ago. I know Ben remembers a lot better. Is after Georgia State had won his first bowl game, the season after that they won 2 games. Now, if that happens again, then you're going to have to start looking at conversations. And I don't think he gets fired this year or anything like that. But if he follows it up with a 2-win season, then the next season where you're looking at, do you look at a change of the guard? But as for winning, the 7-5 season, it's gonna be tough. You have a tough schedule. You always have App State and Georgia Southern, who we kind of struggled against the last couple seasons. But I will say that Georgia State's offense is something to be afraid of, and I think that this team does have talent to win 7 games. It's just going to come down to can the defense, especially, become solid enough to not allow so many points. But Sean Elliott's a good coach, and I think he can get the Panthers to a 6 to 7 win season again. That's definitely possible.
All right.
Yeah.
I
think
Go ahead, man.
No, the biggest thing, no, he's not under any hot seat at all. I'll go ahead and clear that up. I mean, there's no issue there at all. If anything, they're looking at potentially extending his contract. He's in year 4 of a 5-year deal initially, and he is already the winningest coach in program history. I think the biggest thing is now is to Julian's point is not to take the step backwards. Have a winning season, go backwards. Have a winning season. I mean, Georgia State's had 3 seasons basically where they've won 6 games plus, including in year 1, and then there's a step back, whether it's a changing of the guard. I will say on both sides of the ball, this is the most talented roster that I think the Panthers have thrown out there. The toughest part about it ultimately is you lose. I think basically a highly probable win in Murray State at home, and then you lose basically lose a nearly guaranteed loss at Alabama. So you clean those off. You have 10 games to go. Very interested to see how Coach Elliott and his team manage what he calls distractions. And you mentioned some of these players who are acting like players. Well, he's the big mantra that he's been trying to bang the drum with his team is what are you guys willing to give up to be great? So I think that's the next step. That's the next evolution. They knocked off Arkansas State, who's certainly a constant top tier team last season, hung 52 points on them. You'll have your opportunity against the Raging Cajuns, and as Julian mentioned as well, you have App State, you have Georgia Southern, you have teams on the schedule, and there's also non-conference games that you should win. You should beat Charlotte. You should beat East Carolina. Those teams basically are struggling, and I think that's this is just a set the bar year in my world. But again, you have a freshman quarterback, so the team's going to go as he goes.
All right.
Yeah, I guess also to add to, I'm sorry, I mean, I guess to add to that is that we also have I think we have a solid game against South Alabama. It's gonna be some tough games. We also got Troy, and I feel like people don't really give Sean Elliott the credit that he deserves. Like a lot of people see the 7-6 record last season, but don't really understand the what it took to get to those 7 wins. And even he admits that what could have been with the Ellington injury. So I think that there's a tremendous possibility that you could see Georgia State, get to 7 wins, get to 7 wins this season. Not that it's not going to be difficult, but we have a talented offensive line, we have a talented offense, and I feel Georgia State has the same strength as they did last season, and that is to score, and that's something they did really well. And I think what I want to see for Elliott, and as Ben said, he's not on the hot seat or anything. But some benchmarks I probably want to see in the future is probably for one, maybe sometime in the future, beating App State. So I mean, State's never done that before, so that's something that I would love to see down the line. But this team is really talented, and I think if a lot of people watch what Georgia State is doing, then they're going to be very excited for what this team has to do in this season and especially next season.
All right. So let's talk about the quarterback. He's been cleared to play after sitting out pretty much of most of fall camp due to COVID issues. What's y'all thoughts of this? Starting with you, Julian. Also, hold on before we get into that. Guys, 4 people in the chat. Sean, what's good, man? Christian Harden, I think that's your brother.
Yeah, that's my brother.
He said Southern is trash. Go State. All right, we got 4 more people in the chat too. Hey, say hello. We want to say hey back. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, blow it up, blow up the like button. Share this content out with the college sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section if you're watching this at a later time. But yeah, take it away, Julian, about the quarterback.
Yeah, I think Casadro, I think it's great that he was cleared. And, one thing, what we miss about student athletes is that they're human. They're vulnerable to this virus like any of us are. And to me, it was kind of a step back and just kind of showing, the nation that, yes, athletes, even student athletes who are who have these scholarships and who get to have this get treatment early, they still they're still vulnerable to the to COVID just as any rest of us. And especially to him is that he has asthma, especially I have asthma too. So he's even more at risk for this virus. And so for him not to have any lingering heart issues, to me that's just a win on his own. And I'm glad that he's healthy above anything else. And so for him to actually come back, because I thought he was going to be done for the season, and I was actually concerned for him next season. But I think I think it's amazing, and it's always health first for these athletes as they go on to any career after football.
Yeah, I mean and he's a talented player. I mean the biggest thing too, look at his 2020. He's a great Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of South Carolina. He enrolls early in January, shows up to campus, goes through winter workouts, gets 1 full week basically of spring practice, and COVID-19 shuts down basically everything. So he heads back to South Carolina, contracts the virus at some point, comes back, tests positive, and it just lingers. And to Julian's point, I mean, you have a scenario where, hey, my freshman season may be completely wiped out, not to not to be able to play, could have potential lingering issues. But McKelly is a great kid. I've got a chance to know him throughout the recruiting process and getting to know his family, and just knowing how he's wired. He's going to be quite a bit behind. Obviously, not being able to participate in fall camp, but one day. But that kid has a super bright future, the state championship program there in Inman, South Carolina at Chapman High School. So he's going to be a guy to keep an eye on in the future for sure. But the biggest thing, I think his role now is just going to be running the scout team, trying to get the guys on defense really good looks, and have an opportunity to play certainly down the line.
Well, last time I checked the line, it was I think the Raging Cajuns were 14 a 2 touchdown favorite over State. Um and I don't think it'll be that great. I think you'll see Georgia State be able to at least start off with a high amount of energy. I think they'll get off to a hot start because they're at home, and also that this team does have a talented running game that you'll see that progressively throughout the game. The only issue is that I'm still a little bit hesitant on how the quarterback play will be. Cornelius Brown, from what I've seen from last season, very solid quarterback. I want to see more how he's going to fit into the offense. So, for right now, and I think it's going to be closer than people give it credit for. So, right now I say, Lafayette wins the game, but only by a touchdown, 28-21. Cages win the game, but Georgia State will have a lot to hold his head up after the game.
Yeah, full disclosure, I'm terrible at predictions, so I rarely make them. I'll echo what Julian said as well. This litmus test game for Georgia State in a big way. Just as they came back off an enormous win last season at Tennessee, struggled in week 2 in their second game. You have to factor in a lot of things with Louisiana coming in here as well. An 11 a.m. local start for them for the second consecutive week. Can they get up again? They have seen, they may be able to watch film from last year and different things like that. But this team thinks that it can compete for not only a Sun Belt championship, but now being ranked. You go all week with everyone telling you how great you are. Georgia State has a unique opportunity to kind of be that spoiler and really come out and punch this team in the mouth with almost everyone healthy. Louisiana can't say the same thing. So, I do like the Panthers to stay close. Just not super convinced that things, defensively will be completely fixed for Georgia State. They were, one of the worst in the country last
Yeah.
year against the run. I think that has to get fixed in a major way. Iowa State did bottle them up, so there is a lot of things that Georgia State can certainly take from that game. But special teams too was a major factor. You had a kick return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown against Iowa State, and really that's what swung the game to the Cajuns way last Saturday. So if Georgia State, again, they have to be solid in all three phases to keep the game close. And I think you'll have a close game moving into the fourth quarter. And I think that's really where Georgia State needs to show where they are basically as a program, to say, hey, they can stand up face to face with the team, because we saw that last year. They stood up face to face probably for a quarter and a half with App State when they came in and ranked top 25, and then ended up getting blown out in the second half. So I think that's the biggest thing is there should be no reason for them to get blown out in their own building. Those the scores have to be closer, and that comes down to really the defense making stops and keeping things moving, because I can tell you the offensive game plan with the freshman quarterback is going to be run the ball, control, give him options to pass the ball and get out to his playmakers, because I will say this, everyone will focus on the freshman quarterback. Everybody else is back. The offensive line is loaded. The wide receivers are loaded. You have two of the best tight ends in the Sun Belt, and Aubrey Payne and Roger Carter. So there's enough weapons. If this game gets up in the high 30s, I like Georgia State's chances. Just to go blow for blow in that term. But got to keep the ball, no turnovers, and clean up special teams for sure.
Yeah, I'll add to that. Because we saw in the Wyoming game, if Georgia State's held to under 20 points, it's not going to be a good day for them. They are not built for those low scoring, just kind of those slow paced games. That's just not Georgia State. And so we saw Wyoming kind of just devour Georgia State. And one thing I will add, especially in that bowl game, this Wyoming, is another reason why they lost, because dumb penalties. Like we saw in Wyoming, that there was a penalty against the kicker that awarded Wyoming a first down, and they scored. And so Georgia State's got to be able not to shoot themselves in the foot, because they've done that a couple of times in big spots, and it's cost them dearly. But what people forget about, especially last year against Appalachian State, is Georgia State was actually up 21-7 in that game. So they had the talent to beat App State. It's just that defense, and I joked about with Ben, Georgia State at times was a Big 12 team on a budget. This team could score, but they couldn't stop anything. I mean, you could literally see plays where it would just be blown coverage, or, a team could be on their own side of the field and easily get like a 30, 40-yard gain and get themselves back in the game. So Georgia State, they can allow that. But I agree with Ben. If this gets into a 30s, gets into like a shootout, especially if you got to control the ball with the run game with Page and Coates, I think that you have a possibility Georgia State can upset Lafayette, but it has to be on their terms, where the team has to be scoring. If the game is like 20 under 20, 25 points, yeah, I don't see Georgia State coming out of that game with a win.
All right. Well, I'm making short and sweet. I think we're going to lose. I'm just gonna be real, man. Lafayette just looks so good, especially against Iowa State, and they looked good last year as well. I know they didn't win the Sun Belt. Appalachian State just put a whooping on them, but I don't think it's gonna. It's not gonna. I don't think y'all gonna get beat that bad. I think Lafayette is gonna score. I say 34. 34 points. Georgia State, 21.
Cover the spread.
Yeah, covered on that one.
So that's my prediction right there. It just sometimes is the first game of the season for State is either gonna be a great game or it's gonna be a bad game. I've been following State for a while now. They could come out there and shock and beat Lafayette, or they could just, have a long game that day. It all depends. But what I'm concerned about after this game, can they stay consistent? And when I'm talking about positive consistent, if they beat Lafayette, can they, run the tables for a few games and, go on a win streak? Or if they do lose, like I predicted, can they, chalk it up as an L, learn from it, get back to work, and reassess themselves, and get back on the win, get back in the win column, and go on a little, win streak for a few games. So that's just my concern. I'm just, I just wish we could, play a little better and get a better bowl invitation because it's always the doggone Cure Bowl. We played the Arizona Bowl last year, but can we get something else? Can we get can we get the New Orleans Bowl or
I think the Sun Belt did add some nicer bowls.
One of Myrtle Beach. Yeah, so Myrtle Beach replaces the Arizona Bowl.
Yeah, thankfully we had to. My
Where
school.
They gonna play at Myrtle Beach?
So what?
What stadium they got out there at Myrtle Beach?
It's better than Arizona.
Huh?
Yeah, but you got basically it's the East-West Shrine, the South Carolina Shrine Bowl out there. But the thing about it, you got to remember, they're bringing in basically a Sun Belt opponent and probably playing against a Conference USA opponent. So you don't need a 50,000 seat stadium. You get 30,000 seat building out there, and I will tell you this. From conversations that I've had, the bowl system as a whole. There's going to be 4-win teams that go to bowls this year. It looks like unless everyone comes back, which could happen. Could have the Pac-12 back. In a matter of weeks. The Big Ten's already stomping at their feet, and the MAC is talking big and bad as well. So who knows? We don't know what the bowl system will look like in December. But yeah, I think I think there's enough drivable bowls as well. Going to Mobile, going to Birmingham, going things that way. The Sun Belt, that's the biggest thing.
It just feel like to me right now. It just feel like everybody get to go to the bowl game. Like it's like a participation trophy. You played this year, so you get to go on vacation. I'm like, no, you got to win a little bit more games. Even going back 30 years ago, they didn't have all these bowls. They had, you had the Holiday Bowl out there in, San Diego, stuff like that. But, they had a Popeyes Bowl, a Dollar General Bowl, a Little Caesars Bowl. I'm like,
GoDaddy Bowl.
I'm like, y'all got a bowl for everything.
All about the money, my friend.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, honestly, for the bowl game last season, my newspaper and we actually did a road trip all the way from Atlanta to Tucson to cover that game. So yeah, it was sad because that game there was almost no Georgia State fans in there because it's all the way out west. In fact, no Sun Belt team you will find in the bowl game will have their fans there because no fan wants to go from one part of the country to another. Like if they had gone to the Lending Tree Bowl in Mobile or Montgomery, then you're talking about a different story. You're probably having a lot more Georgia State fans there. But I'm so glad they got rid of that bowl because it hurts the Sun Belt because it makes you feel like you don't have any fans being in that side of the country.
Exactly. And I know we got a bowl. Don't we have another bowl here in Atlanta? I know it ain't the Peach. I know it's not the Peach Bowl, but it's like a Heritage Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, Celebration Bowl. Yep.
It's for HBCUs.
Yeah, 2 HBCU schools.
I wish they had. I think they should have another one. It don't have to be played at the Benz. It can be played, at Georgia State Stadium or whatever they call it now, Center Park Stadium.
Yeah.
You got a couple $1 million, man. You can make it happen for sure.
Yeah, one of the largest deal in the Group of 5.
Now we got a sponsor now, so maybe the sponsor might foot the money and bring another bowl here to Atlanta.
$1 million a season. One of the biggest deals in the Group of 5. So Georgia State, unlike a lot of schools, while the record may not show it, they got some good things going. I think Ben also talked about the co-vocation center for the basketball team that's going to be built sometime soon. Yeah, it's one of the few schools that I don't think it's in debt when it's getting all these stadiums or anything.
Yeah, because I'm just ready for that baseball stadium to open up.
Oh, yeah. We all are. Yeah.
Going all the way to Panthersville just to see a baseball team, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, been there, especially in that little I forgot this little bit seats that you sit in. It's not the best place, but slowly but surely Georgia State's going to be elevating itself, and I don't think it'll be too long until that you can see Georgia State doing a lot better in terms of its performance, and it's a dream someday, but moving up to the AAC, which will be a huge both for Georgia State and the AAC. Having a team in Atlanta will be big for any conference.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I appreciate y'all coming on. Once again, Julian, tell them who you are, where they can find you.
My name's Julian. You can find me on YouTube, the Cynical Peach, talk about Georgia sports. I got most recent video did a follow BJ Upton. He used to be a big Brave player here, and then he fell off the map. You also find me on Twitter, Julian Harden 3, and always find me on Georgia Sports Hospitality, which we always talk about Georgia sports, every team, and college. So find me there, and I hope to see you guys.
All right, Ben.
Yeah, it's just been more 24/7 on all your social media outlets, man. Appreciate you having me as always, man. Looking forward to catching up, and hope everybody stays well, and looks forward to a great season this year.
All right,
Thank you, y'all. Stay not Southern.
Thank y'all for coming on again. Hey, for everybody who joined us live, appreciate y'all joining us. And people who watching this at a later time, hey, thank y'all for joining the show. If you enjoyed the show, give us a thumbs up, hit that like button. Also, share this content out with other college sports fanatics, and do not forget to subscribe, you guys. We are on the road to 1K. We are over 800 subs now, so we're trying to get to 1K. Help your hometown sports podcast out by sharing this out and say, hey, go and subscribe to these guys. They real, informative of everything that's going on in the sports world in the state of Georgia. So do that for us, please. We appreciate it. But on that note, we'll see y'all again Sunday live during the halftime between the Falcons and Cowboys. I will put my game prediction up tomorrow afternoon, so be on the lookout for that. And my co-host Rick Flex, he will put out his a Braves clip soon, so be on the lookout for that as well. So we got a lot of content coming y'all way. Just enjoy it and share it out, and we appreciate the love from everybody. Now, as always, come holla at your hometown sports podcast. Y'all have a great evening. See y'all later. Be safe and don't forget to wear your mask.
All right, see you guys.
Tell them boys play time's up. Tell them